Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to go over the homework on number 2 from 4A-5. Alright, so graph the absolute value function g of x equals negative absolute value x plus 1 plus 5 on the set of axes below. So let's get that in our y equals. Okay, so what we need to do is put a negative sign on the outside of the absolute value. We need an absolute value, so that's math, num, option 1. We want x plus 1 on the inside, x plus 1. And on the outside, we want a positive 5. That's what we're going to graph. So let's take a look at the graph and see what it looks like. Where does the graph look like it's centered? Where do you think the center of the graph is? Doesn't it look like the center is at -1? That's the axis of symmetry, -1. So we want to go to our table and we want to work it so that -1 is in the middle of our table of values. Then x value of -1 should be in the middle of our table. So that's good enough, right? -1 is technically in the middle of our table. So we're going to take 3 numbers on top of -1 and 3 numbers below -1, and that's what we're going to copy down. All right, so -1, 5 is in the middle of my table, and then I'm going to have -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. All right, so I have -4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2. We see that symmetrical pattern that we get used to with absolute value functions. So let's graph that. Now, these are the points on here, but I want you to understand that we can continue by following this pattern to fill up the entire page. Oh God, that stinks. That stinks too. All right, that's better. Same thing on this side, we're going to continue it. All right, so state the domain and range of the function. Domain and range is always going to be what? These arrows on the end from left to right. This is pointing all the way to the left, this is pointing all to the right, so that's going to be all reals. The range is y. Now let's put an inequality symbol in there. Now, is it going to be greater than or less than? It's upside down. So it's going to be less than or equal to, what's that top value of y? What's the maximum y value? It's 5, right? So there you go. State the vertex of the function. The vertex is the turning point. So the vertex is going to be at -1, 5, and it is a maximum. We can tell from the table that it's the vertex because that's where we're increasing, 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 then we start to decrease again. Write the equation for the axis of symmetry. That's going to be x is equal to what line would cut it in half? Where did we center our graph? We centered it at -1. All right, so that's the answer for number 2. You should definitely be able to do number 1. All right, have a good night.